Hi, I am Rocky Cordeta, and today, together with my colleagues, we will present to you the muscular system. The muscular system is an organ system consisting of the smooth, the skeletal, and the cardiac muscles. It permits movement through the body, maintains posture, and circulates blood throughout the body. The muscular system is made up of over 600 muscles, which are composed of specialized cells called muscle fibers. Their predominant function is contractibility. Muscles attached to the bones or the internal organs and the blood vessels are responsible for movement. In fact, nearly all movements in the body is the result of muscle contraction. Moving forward, let me present to you the muscle tissue's properties. The primary purpose for the muscular system is to provide movement for the body. The muscles are able to move through the nervous system. There are 5 major properties of the muscular system. 1. Excitable or irritable. This means that they are capable of receiving stimulation and responding to stimulation from the nerves. 2. They are contractible. After receiving stimulation, they are capable of contracting or shortening. 3. Being extensible, a muscle can be stretched without damage by the application of force. And 4. With elasticity, a muscle is able to return its original resting shape and length after being extended or contracted. And 5. The muscular system is adaptable in that it can be changed in response to how it is used. For example, a muscle is enlarged when used to work. On the other hand, a muscle is wasted when deprived of work.
Hello everyone, this is my report for muscular system, functions of muscles. Skeletal muscles perform a variety of different functions, all of which are important to efficient performance of the human body. The 3 functions relating specifically to human movement, assisting in joint stability and maintaining posture and body positioning. 1. Produce movement. Skeletal movement is created as muscles action generate tensions that are transferred to the bone, the resulting movements necessary for locomotion and other segmental manipulation. Groups of muscles. Groups of muscles is contained within the compartment that are defined by fascia, a sheet fibrous tissue. 3 compartments of that type. Anterior compartment or quadriceps femoris. Posterior compartments or hamstring. Medial or adductors.
Hi, good day. I'm Hazel Delda of Bscs 1C and I'm going to present to you the muscle architecture. So, what is muscle architecture? Well, it is the physical arrangement of muscle fibers at the macroscopic level that determines a muscle's mechanical function. It is also defined as the arrangement of muscle fibers within a muscle relative to the axis of force generation. And there are 2 types of arrangement of the muscles, the parallel fiber arrangement and the peniform fiber arrangement. And there are 5 different shapes of parallel fiber arrangement. Number 1 is the fusiform. Fusiform muscles are wider and cylindrically shaped in the center and taper off at the ends, This overall shape of fusiform muscles is often referred to as a spindle. And an example of this architecture type is the bicep brachii in humans. The second one is the strap. Strap muscles are shaped like a strap or belt and have fibers that run longitudinally to the construction direction. One of the examples of this is the longest muscle in the human body, the sartorius. The third one is the conversion. The fibers in the conversion or triangular muscles converge at one end, typically at the tendon, and spread over a broad area at the other end in a fan shape. An example of this is the pectoralis major of humans. The fourth one is the circular. Circular muscles are also called sphincters. When they relax, the sphincters concentrically arrange bundles of muscles. Fibers increase the size of the opening, and when they contract, the size of the opening shrinks to the point of closure. Example of this is the orbicularis oris that goes around the mouth. And the last one is the flat muscle, which is broad and relatively thin sheet-like muscle. For example, the muscle of the anterolateral abdominal wall or the external internal oblique. The second fiber arrangement of muscle is the peniform fiber arrangement. This fiber run diagonally with respect to the central tendon running the length of the muscles. And the shape is feather-like this one, because the fascials are short and run at an angle to the length of the muscles. So, I hope you have learned something today about muscle architecture. Bye!
Three different shapes of peniform fiber. A. Unipinnate. Semimembranosus. B. Bipinnate. Gastrocnemius. C. Multipinnate deltoid. And this is all I have reported. Thank you.
Good day everyone. Now I will going to discuss about the two kinds of muscle fibers. Most muscles are made up of two kinds of muscle fibers that help us move our body. So the first one is the slow twitch fiber types or type 1 and intermediate and fast twitch fiber types or type 2. Slow twitch fiber types or type 1 fibers are oxidative. The fibers are red because of the high content of myoglobin in the muscle. These fibers have slow contraction times and are well suited for prolonged low-intensity work. Endurance athletes usually have a high quantity of slow twitch fibers. So when we say twitch, it refers to the contraction and how quickly and often the muscle moves. So what are the slow twitch fiber types or type 1? Slow twitch fiber types or type 1 are all about endurance or long-lasting energy. In comparison, intermediate and fast twitch muscle fibers give you sudden bursts of energy but getting tired quickly. Slow twitch muscle fibers use aerobic energy system. This means they run on oxygen. The bigger blood supply and slow twitch muscle fibers can make them look readier and darker. Also, it can help you move or stay still longer. They need a rich blood supply because they use oxygen for energy. This is why slow twitch muscle fibers are also called red muscles. Like for example, the muscles in the back of your lower legs and the muscles in your back are made up of slow twitch muscle fibers. This is because they have to help you stand and hold your posture for long periods of time. The second is the intermediate and fast twitch fiber types or type 2. Fibers are further broken down into type 2A oxidative glycolytic and type 2B glycolytic. The type 2A fiber is a red muscle fiber known as the intermediate fast twitch fiber because it can sustain activity for long period, or contract with a burst of force and then fatigue. The white type 2B provide us with rapid force production and then fatigue quickly. So, intermediate and fast-twitch muscle fibers use up a lot of energy very quickly and getting tired quickly. Intermediate and fast-twitch muscle fibers mainly run on an energy system that doesn't need oxygen. This is called an anaerobic energy system. On the other hand, muscles that have more fast-twitch fibers look lighter because they have less blood. For example, the muscles in your eyelids that help you blink are all fast-twitch fibers. Here's the type of fast-twitch muscle. The first one is type 2A. It's the first type of fast-twitch muscle. Keep in mind that type 1 muscle are slow twitch. They're known as oxidative glycolytic because they can use oxygen and glucose for energy. The fast twitch muscles have a higher number of mitochondria than the other type or type 2B. This makes them similar to slow twitch muscles in their ability to use oxygen along with glucose and fat to burn for energy. And like slow twitch muscles, type 2A fast twitch muscles are not easily exhausted and can recover from a short, intense workout relatively quickly. The type 2B is the second type of fast twitch muscle. They are known as non-oxidative because they don't use any oxygen for energy. Instead, they rely on glucose to produce the energy needed for activity. Type 2B muscles also have a much lower number of mitochondria because they don't need them to produce energy from oxygen like type 1 and type 2A muscles do. They are also much longer around than other muscles and become worn out much faster than the other types of muscles despite their capacity for feats of strength.
Hello everyone, my name is John Lawrence S. Sangon, aka Prince John, and for today I am going to discuss the rule of muscle, origin versus insertion. In the performance of a motor skill, only a small portion of the potential movement capability of the musculoskeletal system is used. So basically, the muscle's origins and insertions describe the places where a muscle attaches on bones. Conventionally, a muscle's origins describes the attachment of a muscle on a more stable bone. The insertion then is the attachment of a muscle on a more movable bone. So definitely, to make the things more simpler, we can just call this origin as the proximal or the more closer to the body attended, and the insertion as the distal or the more farther away to the body attended, because their labels are actually given up with the action and not with the location. In general, when a muscle constructs, its insertion that moves towards the origin. So for example, right here is called the sternum-nucleodermastoid or the STM. Named so because of the origin and insertion. So you have one point that called as the sternum in the clavicle. So it can be found right here near in our chest. So in another look as the mastoid process of the skull. So it can be found here near in our skull. So it is the mastoid process of the skull. So to figure out which is the origin and its insertion, we have to take a look at its action.
With some clinical notes. So let's get started and talk about the bones of the shoulder joint. The shoulder joint is a synovial ball and socket joint, and we can see it here from an interior perspective, highlighted in green. The ball component of this joint is formed by the head of the humerus, which is a feature of the long bone in our arm, the humerus, whereas the socket component is formed by the glenoid cavity, or fossa, which is part of the scapulae or shoulder blade. As such, the shoulder joint is also known as the glenohumeral joint. After that short but sweet introduction to the bones of the shoulder joint, let's move on now to have a look at the muscles of the arm, starting with the anterior compartment. Now, the anterior compartment of the arm consists of 3 muscles, and the first one we'll talk about is the biceps brachii. As the name suggests, this muscle has 2 heads, both with different points of origin, and the long head originates from the supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula, and the short head originates from the coracoid process of the scapula. Both heads unite to form a single large muscle belly, which inserts at the radial tuberosity. It also has a soft tissue attachment to the deep fascia of the forearm through a wide expansion of the biceps brachii tendon, known as the bicipital aponeurosis.
The video showed a muscle construction wherein the insertion moves toward the origin, so it is actually the straightforward as it seems. According to Corporis, when you're learning muscles action, actually do the action. Feel your muscle construct underneath your fingers, so you can really build a mental picture of what's happening with the muscle construction. He also said that perform the action and avoid memorizing senses. It just means that we should not just memorize the senses. Instead, we must do, or we must put, or even we must apply an action towards it in order for us to have the personal experience in learning a muscle constructions and its function. Other way in both cases, the chest remain pretty fixed while the skull is moving. So we label up the mastoid process or the distal as the insertion, while the sternum-clavicle area or the proximal as the origin. So I guess that will be all for today. I hope that you have learned something on my discussion. Okay, just remember that if the attachment of a muscle on a more stable bone, it is called the origin or the proximal. And if the attachment of a muscle on a more movable bone, it is called the insertion or the distal. So again, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful and a blessed day. See ya!
Agonist versus antagonist. The words agonist and antagonist can be used in different contexts, but you'll hear them when talking about medical treatment or drug addiction more often than anywhere else. Though these 2 words sound very similar, there's a big difference between them. Definition: an agonist creates action. If a drug is agonist, it produces a chemical reaction after being attached to the receptors of the brain. Examples: this drug is the only dopamine agonist generally available. Adverse agonist is a new type of classification. When bending the elbow, the biceps are the agonist. The M receptors agonist, pilocarpine, was the similar to effects of ACH. Definition: an antagonist opposes a certain action. When an antagonist drug is given to the patient, it blocks the addictive drug from activating the receptors of the brain. Examples: a specific leukotriene receptors antagonist awaits development. Naltrexone hydrochloride is a new morphine-like antagonist in our country now. When bending the elbow, the triceps are the antagonists. This drug is both histamine and a serotonin. An antagonist is also the anticholinergic properties.
Good day everyone, I am Desiree Verana. What comes to your mind when you hear the word muscles? We might think the muscles in our leg that helps us to run fast. This muscle belongs to skeletal muscles. And do you know that there are 3 different types of muscles found in human body, which is skeletal, the cardiac, and smooth muscles. So let's talk about the skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscle is the muscle that is attached to the bones and help us to move our body. Skeletal muscle contract on a voluntary basis via the somatic nervous system, allowing us to move our body. Skeletal muscles also serve an important functions such as supports our postures and protects our organs. Skeletal muscle also known for voluntary muscles. So let's talk about the cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscles is that the one near to my heart because, well, it is in my heart. Anyways, cardiac is only found in the heart. Cardiac means relating to the heart. Cardiac muscles contract on a involuntary basis, which means without our conscious control. So let's talk about the smooth muscles. So later on, I will discuss the difference between involuntary and voluntary muscles. Muscles is found in the walls of hollow organs like our intestines and stomach. Smooth muscles are involved in many housekeeping functions of the body. The muscular walls of our intestines contract to push food through our body. And also, smooth muscles, also known as involuntary muscles. So let's talk about the difference about involuntary and voluntary muscles. Cardiac and smooth muscles, also known for involuntary muscles, because these muscles cannot be controlled by us and they can work all the time, unlike the skeletal, known for voluntary, meaning we can control how and when they work. Let's say that skeletal muscles is voluntary. It decided by our own will. And that's all. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. I have to report my topic about skeletal muscle distribution. So what was on the skeletal muscle distribution? There was a body region and muscles area and contents. But first of all, I have to explain what is extremities. Extremities or arm is a functional unit of the upper body. It consists of three sections: the upper arm, the forearm, and the hands or fingers. First, we have the arm on upper extremities. Let's try to think, guys. Unsa ba di ay ang naa or ang unsa ato makita diri sa atong arms? Diba? May da siya mga pandre kini mga shape, ana shape, tapos ana na pod. So, di ara, guys. Well, sa arm na to, aday tulo kabahin na maoy nagtabang pag-function sa atong arm or diri sa atong bukton. Mao kini ang gitawag nga deltoid biceps and triceps. Okay, so first we have to discuss about deltoid. So what is deltoid, guys? Deltoid muscle, it is a part of the upper extremities. Well, what is deltoid? Okay, let me tackle this on to you guys. Deltoid muscle is a large triangular shaped muscle which lies over the glenohumeral joint and which gives the shoulder its rounded contour. Large triangular shape. So, di ara, guys. Mano yung ganina, guys, nga na shape guys. So, siya. Mano siya large triangular shape. Siya trapat triangle na siya. Triangle. Okay. Dire po ta sa glenohumeral joint. Asam din na namutang ang glenohumeral joint di ay. So, napo na siya dire, guys. So, mo na siya reason nga nung nagkaadag contour aton dire bukton, guys, contour. Nasabot man tan sa contour, di ba? Then let's go to the biceps. What is biceps, guys? A biceps is a muscle in the front part of the upper arm. Dara na siya dire, guys. Kini dire, mo na siya biceps. The biceps includes a short head and a long head. Short head daw kuno og long head. So kini diri nga part na ni siya duha ka part niya muscle which is short head og long head na dire. Dikit na sila, guys. That work as a single muscle and it provide arm flexion. Arm flexion daw kuno mo na siyang hinungdan dai sa kuan dai. Sa long head and short head niya mao makaana ta. Flexion atong kamot. So, for example, the way we walk, diba atong mapansin na ang atong kamot is magada siya movement, which is what we call flexion. Then, now, let's go to the triceps. And the triceps, or what we call triceps brachii, is a large, thick muscle in the dorsal part of the upper arm. Muna siya ang large, thick muscle dako ug baga nga muscle sa toa. So, asa ba din makita nato ang triceps ani? Na siya diri, guys, laom, guys. Kini muna siyang triceps dire kini nag-hold. And now, let's also tackle about the forearm. Overall, the forearm comprises the lower half of the arm. Ang kuanda ko na ang forearm da ko na makita da ko na nato siya diri sa ubos sa ato ang arm. Na siya diri. Ubos sa tunga. Kini siya diri nga part. On forearm, there are brachioradialis pronator, and supinator. On these three parts, I have to discuss first the brachioradialis. Brachioradialis muscle is the most superficial muscle on the radial side of the forearm, and the second is pronator. Well, what is pronator, guys? Pronator or pronator teres muscle is a long round muscle that is located on the anterior aspect of the forearm. This muscle has two different points of origin. The humeral head is longer and more superficial. The third is supinator. Let's go to supinator, guys. Supinator is a spiral muscle contained in the posterior compartment of the forearm. Fingers, guys. Fingers is also a part of upper extremities. It has two types, which is thana muscle and hyposthenia muscle. Hyposthenia is state of physical weakness or abnormally low muscular tension. Okay, sir and classmates, that is all for upper extremities, and now it is time to move to our next topic, which is lower extremities. The lower extremity refers to the part of the body from head to toes. It includes upper leg, upper back, and lower back. Then let's start from the upper leg. First, I have to discuss the rectus femora, or what we call rectus femoris. Rectus femoris is part of the quadriceps group. It is bulk of muscle located in the superior, anterior, middle compartment of the thigh. Next is quadriceps. The quadriceps are a group of 4 muscles that make up the front of your thigh. These muscles are the vastus intermedius, vastus medialis, and vastus lateralis, and rectus femoris. And now, the hamstring muscles are responsible for your hip and knee movements. And in walking, squatting, bending your knees, and tilting your pelvis. Okay, lower leg. The lower leg is a part of the lower extremity or leg. The lower leg lies between the knee and ankle and works with the upper leg and foot to help perform the key functions of the leg. On lower leg we have gastrocnemius. Gastrocnemius is a large muscle located in the posterior leg. Gastrocnemius is a large muscle located in the posterior leg. Dako din siyang muscle, guys. And also there are tibialis anterior. Well, what is tibialis anterior? Tibialis anterior muscle is a muscle in humans. That originates along the upper 2/3 of the lateral surface of the tibia and inserts into the medial uniform and first metatarsal bones of the foot. Then the last topic that we had to tackle about is upper back. And we already know where our upper back is. On the upper back, there are trapezius. Okay, trapezius muscle is a postural and active movement muscle used to tilt and turn the head. And neck, shrug, steady the shoulders, and twist the arms. And now, let's go to erector spine. Erector spine. What is erectors? What is erectors and where it belong? Well, erector spine is also a part of the upper back. It is a group of long muscles that originate near the sacrum and extend vertically up the length of the back. So, mara siya diri, guys, ang kinidiri nga part niya. Na siya diri, guys, kini nga muscles diri, guys, nga padong sa ubos. Na siya diya, guys. And now, after the upper back, we have a lower back, which is the last topic. On lower extremities, Lower back is the extensor muscles are attached to back of the spine and enable standing and lifting object. Mao na siya diri guys, kini nga gitawag nato og lower back guys. Mao na siya diri ang kining mao siya diri guys. So mao na siya guys ang lower back nato guys, which is may da siya kuan guys, may da siyang kusog nga maglifting tag object guys. So I hope that may da mo'y nasabtan sa akong na report karon. And once again, good morning guys, and good morning sir. Thank you.